Good morning from Colombia. The title of today's reflection is Being Respectful. We're going to look in the book of Mark, chapter 1, verse 43 to 45. Jesus sent him away at once with a strong warning. See that you don't tell this to anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest, and offer the sacrifices that Moses commanded for your cleansing, as a testimony to them. Instead, he went out and began to talk freely, spreading the news. As a result, Jesus could no longer enter a town openly, but stayed outside in lonely places. Yet the people still came to him from everywhere. In this scripture, we're continuing the story of the leper that has been healed miraculously by Jesus. But we must understand this, and Jesus was a good example of this. The power of God does not mean that we pay no regard to respect. Respecting the cultures that we're in, respecting the law of the land, respecting where we live and the time that we live in. You see, at this time, the law said that if somebody was healed or had been made well from being a leper, they needed to go and to present themselves to the priest, as Jesus called him to do. They needed to offer the sacrifices, and only when the priest said he was clean would this man actually be seen as officially clean. Jesus understood this, and Jesus respected this. He had done an amazing miracle in this man's life. He had healed him from a nasty disease that had made this man an outcast. And yet when we look here, we see that this man actually disobeys what Jesus calls him to do. We read on later, it says that Jesus could no longer enter a town openly, but stayed outside in lonely places. This was as a direct result of the man's disobedience or disrespect to Jesus and what Jesus had called him to do. This man had received a miracle, but he had then decided that as a human being he knew what was best. He wasn't being respectful to what Jesus had done. He wasn't being respectful to his words. He had his miracle, and now he was off on his way. Jesus respected the culture that he was in, and we should too. I found this through coming to Colombia. If I was to try and change everything around me and do things the way that we do them in England, it wouldn't be taken as well. People wouldn't really understand what I was doing. They wouldn't understand why I was. Take, for example, the timings of events and using diaries and setting ahead things to do and things that we're going to plan and put in dates in the diary. These things don't work over here in the same way. I must respect the culture that we're in. Yes, it can be difficult, but if I want to understand the people, if I want to help the people, I need to understand the culture that we're in. Respect is so important, and when we look at the life of Jesus, even though he was the Son of God, we see respect everywhere we go. Another point is this. I guarantee you that if you've given your life to Jesus, there has been a miracle in your life. Even the miracle of forgiveness is sometimes one that can be overlooked. It's the greatest miracle made available to man, and yet we can disregard it after time. We can forget who we were before we were Christians. We can forget how much God has done for us, how much change there's been in our life. But what did Jesus say to us after we received the miracle? What did he ask us to do about it? For many, I can guarantee you, he asked us to share the message of the gospel with others. Maybe you've had a particular healing in your life. What does Jesus want you to do with that miracle? What did he say afterwards? Or did you receive your miracle, run off and go about life the way you wanted to? Or does he actually want you to do something with the miracle you've received? Does he want you to share about it with other people? Maybe he's called you to pray for people that are suffering with the same situation. What does Jesus want you to do? Are you being respectful to what he's done in your life? Are you being respectful to the culture that you live in? As we are respectful to the culture that we live in, we are more help to those around us, and we can have more effect than you ever can believe or imagine. So remember this, Jesus was a man who respected the culture. We must respect it too. But also, he's a man who respects us, and we must respect him, all of his words, not just the ones we like. God bless you all.